How to ride a Honda scooter.
First, select shirt pant combo.
We suggest this or this. Next, select appropriate shoes. We suggest 2.
Then choose a scooter that best expresses your individuality.
Guys, look at this. This might be a little bit of an odd comparison, but this is a 2010 Hyundai Elite. That is a Hyundai Elite from 2006. That's an 80cc. And essentially, this bike is the new version of that. This is a little bit rare because they only made it for 1 year in the United States, 2010. That's a 2006. You can actually tell the resemblance between these two bikes. They sit oddly the same. They're very short bikes, and this was appealing to a lot of students and entry-level scooter riders. A lot of times, people that bought these wanted to have economical ways of transport to school, and these bikes are really great for getting around short distances. Both of these bikes are about similar sizing. This one's bigger, but this one's surprisingly a little bit more usable, as you're about to find out. It is fuel injected, that's carbureted. This uses 12-inch wheels, that uses 10-inch wheels. They both have some storage. This one's got much more storage. It doesn't have any storage here. That one has storage in the front. But the underseat compartment of this is probably one of the biggest, most usable storage compartments I've seen on a scooter. That one, of course, you get if you are really into the 80s, but this one you can kind of tell the 80s styling a little bit. But normally I would not have both of these scooters in my garage, but this is the old version of this. And today we're going to look at both of these together. Which bike would you pick? Which one is the right scooter for you? You know, I've been telling people that scooter riding should be also done with motorcycle riding. And scooter riding is just so much more fun. Now, these bikes are completely just street scooters. You're not supposed to be off-roading these. There are some bikes, especially now with the Honda 150 ADV, you can kind of like off-road it a little bit, but these bikes are just get to work, get to school sort of riding. Now, the Hyundai Elite 110, it's interesting because it doesn't have a windscreen, but you could get a windscreen, but it does have this like lip to the fairing. It's much more modern. This is plastic, this is glass, so different time. And very interesting bike. The mirrors are the cheap kind. You can see here that they were using this kind of like Miami Vice styling for the mirrors, which I like. And by the way, stock for the turn signals, integrated turn signals. This, of course, uses the key to open up the storage, which is almost non-existent. The storage of this, you cannot compare it to the Elite 110. It's funny, like looking at the Elite 110 on the left, the exhaust is just so much more robust than the Elite 80. The Elite 80 uses this tiny little hole, and it just looks like a tiny exhaust that's very cheap and heavy. While I was removing the rear tire on the Elite 80, it uses a very strange spiral to get to the engine, and it makes it much more complicated to change a tire. Maintenance on the 80 seems to be a little bit harder than the 110. The 110 has a little bit less plastic. It looks a little bit more sporty with the plastic in an upward kind of sporty design trajectory. The Elite 80 is very angular, but that is the 80 styling, of course. Both of these bikes require a motorcycle license to ride because they're over 50 cc's. But in a way, the 80cc Hyundai Elite is almost as slow as a 50. It would have to be like a fast 50. I guess you can kind of say that the Hyundai Elite 80 is a fast 50. Pegs on this are just kind of like regular motorcycle pegs. And on this, they are much nicer. They are kind of built in. They're almost like SH150 style, designed more of the integrated style. Elite 180 is narrower than the Elite 110. So when you look at the profile of the Elite 110, Elite 80, it's very slim. The Elite 110 is much wider at the rear. So the seat on this, it is cushy. You can tell it's like the 80s style with these kind of like squares. This is a much nicer, thicker rubber pad, and it's also much wider here than this one. And it does have quite a bit of distance for your passenger as well. When it comes to racks, this is a much more substantial rack. And not only that, this is a good grab rail for your passenger. This does not really have a passenger grab rail. It's the type that you have to grab over here. And passengers really don't like that. It would be much nicer to have the passenger grab rail here, but I understand why Honda decided to get rid of that here and just put it here. It hurts the design of this bike by having like a big style rack like this on the side. Elite 110 has got massive storage, so not only you have a lockable front storage compartment and the charger for the battery right there, you also have a way of opening up the trunk just using the key. This underseat storage is just huge. This is like so handy to have. Now let's compare it. There we go, no storage at all. There's no storage on the Elite 80, which is ridiculous. The one reason I like scooters is the underseat storage that this has. This has got the tank right there. Where is the tank on the Elite 110, you may ask? The Elite 110 has got a lockable gas cap on the floorboard. I prefer this because the gas is like really down low, but it doesn't really matter because it doesn't take up a lot of gas. So you're essentially, you know, not really using that kind of very low weight possibilities. On the SH150, the gas is actually in the top, kind of like the Elite 80, but the battery is here. It is much higher up than the Elite 110. I think both of these bikes look pretty darn good. Of course, you can tell a little bit of the design cues that the Elite 110 has. It's much more modern, as you'd expect, but in a way, I do prefer the styling of the 80. This is a much cooler bike. I do have to realize that the 80 style is back and people really enjoyed the quality that this has. One thing I appreciate of the old stuff is the glass headlights. A lot of people, they use the 110 for commuting, they leave it outside, and this fades. And once this fades, to get a plastic thing, you would have to go on eBay and you would have to buy it and ship it most likely from Europe. And I have the SH150, same issue. If you ever drop the Elite 110, it's going to cost you more to fix, because the plastics, for example, coming from Italy, where they seem to have more of these, they cost about $200 to ship. That is the shipping of ordering plastic from Italy, and with the addition of the plastic itself, which is like $60. So it's like $260 for a piece of plastic. So not worth it. If you get the Elite 110 or the SH150, remember there is a downside. It's a great bike, reliable, but it is expensive to maintain because of the lack of parts. The Elite 110 has got a rotor and 2 piston caliper up front. The Elite 80 has got a 10-inch tire and drum brakes all around. So the Elite 110 does have space for the blinkers here. Integrated blinkers in Europe, they do have them. This is fuel injected, of course. They're about the same seat height. So that is a comparison between the 80 and the 110. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.
Where you go from there is entirely up to you. Come on, Adam.
I can't.
It's easy.
I've never ridden one.
It's quick.
I've never ridden anything. Ever.
It's fun.
I don't even drive.
Honda scooters. They're everything but ordinary.
It's sexy.
I'll take it.
I'll take you. Come on, Adam.
I can't.
It's easy.
I've never ridden one.
It's quick.
I've never ridden anything. Ever.
It's fun.
I don't even drive.
Honda scooters. They're everything but ordinary.
It's sexy.
I'll take it.
Kind of stuck here. The cops won't bother me.